Hi, today's video is in the category of knowledge pathways, and the broad title on which I have been doing the past few videos is strengthening our immune system. As a part of this series, in part 2, episode 2 of 3, we will see today on the subtitle, A Healthy Heart. This is a very important subject because we seem to give very little importance to the heart intelligence. I have moved into this understanding due to my association with Institute of Heart Math in California over the last 15 years as part of my work in doing some research on consciousness. Our life starts 21 days after conception, and that's when the heart starts beating. And the heart stops when you have clinical death. The heart has nearly 2 billion muscle cells and about 40,000 neurons. This discovery of neurons was very recent. It was only published in 1991 in a peer-reviewed journal that these neurons play an important part in the function of the heart. These neurons transmit signals and the condition of the heart to the brain. The heart-mind interaction takes place both in electrical as well as in the chemical mode. In the electrical mode, the communication takes place via the vagus and the spinal cord nerves, and chemically through the nervous system, as the heart is an endocrine gland. Recent studies have shown that heart sends signals to the brain and that are not only understood by the brain, but they are obeyed. The heart communication with the brain and body takes place in 4 ways. The neurological communication through the nervous system, biochemical communication, hormones, the biophysical communication through pulse wave, this is a very recent discovery, and energetic communication through electromagnetic fields. Scientists have discovered the neuronal pathways and mechanism whereby input from the heart to the brain actually inhibits and facilitates the function of the neurons in the brain. This is similar to what we discussed in the last video about the gut. So the heart and the gut play an important part in the well-being of your mind or your brain. For this, we have to understand that the electrical signaling, the heart is also an endocrine gland releasing peptides, which is very useful and helpful in helping our blood pressure as well as in the function of our kidneys. These peptides stimulate our pituitary gland, helping it to release hormones like oxytocin, commonly referred as the love or the bonding hormone. Oxytocin also helps in increasing our feeling of well-being. This could be the basis of saying that happy feelings emanate from the heart. Recently, scientists have also discovered that the heart is involved in the processing of and decoding of intuitive information. This was well understood 70 years back. Albert Einstein made a beautiful remark, and I quote, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a slave and a faithful servant. But unfortunately, we have made and created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift." Yeah, it's a beautiful saying. Because intuition, the heart level intelligence, is very important. Tests done on subjects have showed that the heart appeared to receive the intuitive information much before the brain. This could be the basis of saying, follow your heart and you will never go wrong. We have seen the importance of heart as an organ in our well-being. But what about heart intelligence? Because the heart plays a central role in creating physiological coherence and is associated with heartfelt positive emotions and intuitions, it is not surprising that one of the strongest threads uniting the views of diverse cultures and religious and spiritual traditions throughout history has been a universal regard that it is a source of love, wisdom, intuition, courage, etc. Everyone is familiar with such expression as put your heart into it, especially when you are faced with difficult tasks. Learn it by heart in our studying and speak from your heart to tell the truth. These are expressions which are implicit knowledge that have been in traditions in various cultures and spiritual tradition for a very long time. Thus, the heart is not only a physical pump that sustains life, but it has got its own intelligence, which is very important for the overall well-being of a human being. These information I shared with you actually reflect what often is called the intuitive or the spiritual heart. Throughout history, people have turned to the intuitive heart, also referred to as their inner voice or soul or higher power, as a source of wisdom and guidance. Especially in our meditation, we don't use the rational mind. It is the empowerment of our heart intelligence which takes us to deep meditation. In fact, one of the recent studies that have been conducted and which is amplified and told by Greg Braden in one of his videos is about the 0.1 cycle pulse which goes from the heart to the brain, and how focusing on that you could do a meditation which will empower you. Heart's electromagnetic field is 100 times stronger than the brain. It extends in common person up to 3 feet. It was reported that the field of spiritual masters used to extend 27 feet, especially in the Gurukulam, in Vedantic school. When the Guru teaches the Sishyas, the field has to be very wide. So, most of the transference of knowledge that takes place is more intuitive, heart to heart, not from the brain to the brain of the other person who is receiving the information. Heart field resonance is fundamental to a good relationship. A few minutes of hugging a person or even shaking hands does a lot to your immune system. Let me especially tell you about hugging another person, because if we love a person and with pure intention, gratitude and love, we put out this act of hugging, we empower the immune system and give it a great boost. Even for a few minutes a day, if you could do this to your closest friend, your wife, husband, or people in need, the hugging is very critical and very important. So with these thoughts, I will leave you today. These are very powerful information. Do take it in and empower your life. Thank you for watching and have a great life.